Teachers of America. My name is Kayla Purvis.
And my name is Keela Crum.
And today we would like to present some information regarding using technology in the classroom. So Keela, when you were in middle school, did your teachers implement technology in the classroom?
Actually, no. We only had specific classes for technology. Teachers didn't use a lot of technology in the classroom.
Yeah, same here. I remember the good old days where there was a keyboarding class and a technology class. You know, we built bridges out of Q-tips.
Technology has advanced so much since we were in school. Now there are all kinds of applications, apps to the younger generation, and technology software available to them.
Technology in the classroom is important now more than ever. Technology is relevant in students' everyday life. From iPhones to laptops, information is in their hands faster.
Technology makes learning more memorable and lifelong. A new theory called gamification makes learning exciting. Gamification allows the students to see learning as a game and can be fun and challenging depending on the program.
For example, the game Minecraft is used in math classes for concepts such as area, volume, height, circumference.
I remember when Oregon Trail was on Windows 97. Now let's take a look how Oregon Trail has advanced over the years.
Wow, did you see that pixelation? The graphics in itself has shown how technology has grown over the years. Even the difference in PowerPoint versus Prezi shows how technology has changed.
Prezi moves around and allows the lecture notes to not be as dull as PowerPoint.
I agree, Keela. Prezi is more exciting and way more time efficient. Prezi allows you to post videos directly on it, whereas PowerPoint you have to click a link and just go to a different screen to view the video.
Our suggestion would be to use Prezi instead of PowerPoint because it will not as easily bore the students.
Technology is growing at such a rate that the technology we learn now will be outdated in the next 2 years. So why is it important to keep up with technology? To keep up with your students. Technology demands so much of their time, and now if we use anything without technology, it doesn't seem worthwhile for your students.
For students with learning disabilities like ADHD, technology helps keep them stimulated and helps keep them from zoning out and being bored. Technology piques their interest. This is why it should be implemented when possible.
Now we will take a short break and hear from a local teacher, Mr. Hancock, on why he feels technology should be implemented in the classroom.
Hi, I'm with one of our teachers, Jerry Hancock, and he's going to talk to us a little bit today about how he uses technology in his classroom. Mr. Hancock, how long have you been teaching?
This is my 7th year teaching in education. I started as a substitute in 2005. I substituted for 3 semesters, and then I was a parapro for a semester and started teaching my own classes in 2007.
That's awesome. So how long have you been incorporating technology in your classroom?
Pretty much from the get-go. Obviously, I knew going in education and technology was going to be a big part of it. And I was a little intimidated by it because of the fact that obviously the generation of kids that are coming up now are much more familiar with a lot of the technology. So right out of the gate, I almost felt like I was playing catch-up. But I knew that that was going to be something I'd have to tackle, and I did my best the first couple of years. Obviously, being a first-year teacher is always kind of intimidating, but then you kind of have a learning curve that first couple of years to kind of figure it all out. But I think I've done a pretty good job of incorporating it, but it's a matter of making sure you don't go overboard with it. I think there is such thing as too much. I think.
In what ways are you talking about?
Well, I mean, in the discipline of history, I mean, I teach history, and by nature, the discipline in a lot of ways is lecture-based. You have to make sure that kids understand certain foundations of the big picture, and let the details be the things that you kind of focus your attention on through technology, letting them get acquainted with, well, for instance, right now I'm teaching the Civil War, and you have to explain to them that there are certain benefits, there are certain advantages, disadvantages for both the Confederates and the Union forces, but you want them to kind of figure it out for themselves from that point. You give them the big picture and kind of set it up through lecture and delivering the basics on the material, and then let them fill in the details on their own.
So how do you think it's impacted your classroom experience with the technology that you use?
I think it's been positive. You know, we're using certain things like Poll Everywhere and things of that nature where kids can kind of give their feedback through technology as opposed to raising their hand, because obviously you got a lot of kids who they're nervous to speak out in class, for instance. That technology gives them the opportunity to voice opinions or answer certain things that they would probably be a little more hesitant to do in a more traditional setting.
So are there any downfalls to using technology in your classroom?
Well, there's always the power outage is obviously an issue. I have some colleagues who feel very strongly about that. Programs crash, computers crash. We've lost information. Ms. Flannery just had a situation where she had some of her AP students submitting a project via Dropbox, and Dropbox lost all the projects. And of course the kids, some of them didn't back it up.
Yeah.
It was gone, hours of investment into the project, and it's gone. So it has its shortcomings, and it's not foolproof. But I think it's definitely, it's the way of the future. And like I said, the students today, they're more familiar with the technology than the teachers are. So it's a matter of us trying to figure out what their preferable, which avenues they prefer the most is really the game. And occasionally I'll bring something to the table and I'm like, have you seen this? And they're like, no, that's cool. And you really feel like you've got a leg up at that point because you're actually introducing something completely new to them. But, on a day-to-day basis, we use Remind 101, which is, God, it's been the greatest thing in the world as far as communication with the students. So I think technology has as many benefits outside the classroom as it does in being able to stay in touch, because organization is always an issue for some of the students. They don't keep up with dates and things very well, even though they have a calendar on those little magic boxes they carry in their pockets. You can still send text messages out and remind people, test is coming up, don't forget to study for this, we've got a project, just reminding students. Maybe you have to change locations. You're going to be in the computer lab versus the classroom. You can say, don't forget, we're going to be here. Or you can completely shift gears and say, by the way, bring your textbook tomorrow, which we rarely use, but occasionally. So,
is there any last advice that you would give new and upcoming teachers about technology?
I think youth is a real strength in this profession. Unfortunately, in the teaching world, we're not paid very well, and I think at a certain point you get such a vast generation gap between your current students and yourself. To a certain point, I think after you get past a certain age, you almost lose touch with it. I don't want to say that's always the case, but you definitely need to keep your skills sharpened in dealing with technology and always trying to be one step ahead of the curve. And it's a facet of the job. It's an ongoing thing. You never quit learning. I always stress that to the students. You're never going to quit learning. It's always going to be growth and getting you to the next step. And I think technology, it's just a part of the world we live in today, and it's something that you're going to have to tackle one way or another, because the age of the old traditional classroom that's a bygone era at this point. As far as the future of education, I genuinely believe that brick and mortar classrooms will be a thing of the past in the very near future. I would go so far as to say maybe within the next 10 years. We know transportation is one of the biggest expenses in public education. And we know that more and more kids are turning to online classes as an option. I mean, obviously you're losing that social element that is so important to the students, but at the same time, I genuinely believe that in the next 10 years you're going to have teachers teaching 500 students instead of 150 students via the internet, and that's just the direction that we seem to be going, and more and more colleges are turning to that as well. Sometimes that's a good barometer, I think, for kind of trying to figure out where education is going to go. We already know that's a big part of college classes, and my guess is it's probably going to become more and more prominent in public education. So,
well, thank you so much for your time.
you're very welcome.
Back to you.
Thank you for staying tuned with us. You know, technology does not always have to be high-tech. You can use simple technology like applications with surveys or quizzes just to keep the students engaged after class. An app called Socrative allows teachers to create all kinds of different quizzes and surveys for their students.
An app called Neuropod allows students to interact with each other during presentations they created and also allows you to monitor them while they are doing this.
And last but not least, there is an application called Text Plus that allows you to communicate with your students after class without using your actual cell phone or home phone, but allows the students easy access to you.
Okay guys, thank you for viewing our webcast.
We hope that this information was helpful for you and helps further you along in your teaching career.
Have a blessed day!